Alrighty, everybody. Hey, this is Trey Henderson. I'm with the Fredericksburg Regional Chamber of Commerce. Today I'm joined by Paul Covill.
You got it. Yeah, Covill.
Covill, there we go, from Burke and Hurbert Bank. I was so sad. He came in and introduced himself to our intern, and I realized I was saying his last name wrong.
For a while. Yeah, we've known each other for a while. So,
well, here we are with Paul Covill of Burke Hurbert Bank. Super excited to have you here.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. First of all, the podcast room that the chamber has, pretty legit. You guys have a nice little setup here. Happy to be here, and awesome to talk a little banking. We'll talk about this upcoming event on August 7th. I'll be honest, when you said we're going to feed people and you're going to talk about banking, I was like, Trey, that's like the recipe for a nap. But we'll find a way to make it fun, though.
Entertain them.
That's right.
That's where Jamie comes in.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
We have Jamie Garza, who's going to be our MC. He'll entertain them.
Yeah, Jamie Garza is he's a top tier entertainer, so it'll be fun. And then Regis as well from Davenport, who does an amazing job over there. So good people, and it should be a fun event. So
yeah, absolutely. So that's why we have you here today. We're going to talk a bit about that event and why we chose you as a speaker for that. Money, finance, all that great stuff going on. But real quick, Paul, also you did mention our podcast room. If you all have never been to the office that are listening, we put it like basically, I don't know what to define this room as. It's an extension in our office. There's a lot of windows. You can see the canal path. Did you see our chamber parlor neon sign?
Yeah, it's the whole setup is great.
Yeah.
You guys got it figured out here. Good job, chamber.
Yeah. This is my favorite room.
Yeah.
You saw that our intern was working in here when you came in today. I will sometimes just bring my laptop and my phone and work from here for the day and get all the windows. And you have the canal path. You see people walking by with their dogs.
Beautiful setup.
Right on. So, Paul, tell us a bit about just your role and a bit about like modern day banking and what it's for the common man.
Layman's terms.
Yeah.
Thanks, Trey. Yeah, I'm in. So I work for Burke and Hurbert Bank. I'll start there. We're a local community bank, about $8 billion in asset size, and actually the oldest continually operating bank in Virginia, 172 years old. So it's a really unique story and cool history. So I'm in commercial banking. So I focus 100% on lending to small businesses, commercial customers for a wide variety of things. I do mostly what's called C&I lending or commercial industrial lending. So it'll be directly to business owners or nonprofits, ESOPs, things like that for their needs, whether that be real estate, equipment, lines of credit, business acquisition, financing, those kind of things. We also have a commercial real estate team that's going to do lending almost 100% on investment real estate projects. So people that are developing or buying real estate that for the purpose of renting it. And then we also have our branch and kind of our consumer division, which, probably touches the yous and me's a lot more, general bank accounts, mortgages, wealth services. So all the things that, regular people need to get through their banking. So that's kind of, the structure and a little bit about what I do. I've been in commercial banking for, I've been in banking for 18 years and commercial banking for 15 of it. So yeah, maybe it's been a lot has changed over the last 15 years, and I've done a lot of different things in the commercial banking space, but I can't say enough about the Fredericksburg community and how fun it is to work with the small businesses in this market. And, happy to be a small piece of the puzzle in the banking world here locally.
Were you raised here?
I was not. I grew up in Des Moines, Iowa, mostly. So I was born in New Jersey. Don't hold it against me. I'm like a New York fan. So the Yankees and all the teams that people hate are the teams I root for. But then
it's fun to be the villain.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. And I think actually the Yankees nickname is Evil Empire. So I try not to tell, there's a lot of Orioles fans and Nationals fans in this market. So, they generally hate Yankee fans. But no, then I moved out to the Midwest with my family. My dad got a job out there. He was in insurance. And so most of my life was in the Midwest. And I came back east to go to school and really just met my wife. That was the primary benefit of coming back out east. Met my wife, and we started a family. We got got 4 kids, and I'm not going to say 4 and counting. So hopefully 4 and stopping. But yeah, and Fredericksburg's been our home for about 9 years now. So it's
if you have a 5th child, we'll have to delete this podcast.
That's correct. Yeah, that's exactly right.
Well, that's a whitewash it from the internet. That's funny you brought up about the sports and hiding Yankees fandom, because in England, I watch a lot of soccer.
Okay.
And English, like politicians, a lot of them have to hide or fake their fandom to soccer clubs.
Right. Because you're going to make people mad.
You're going to make people mad for no reason sometimes. Right. So the British royal family does not have a soccer club. You can look up every celebrity that is from England and they all have they have a club, but the politicians, unless it's the region they're from, they hide it.
It's too polarizing.
It's too polarizing. Yeah. And
I'm with you.
The British royal family never mentions who they like.
Actually, now that you say this, can you edit out that I'm a Yankee fan?
Too late.
Yeah.
Too late.
Okay. Right.
It's on the record.
Okay.
You can just say you're joking.
Yeah, that's right. I was joking.
Yeah, there are rumors the British family do follow Aston Villa.
Oh.
That's what I've been told.
Okay.
Or some of them do. They're split up in some ways.
Though.
They're just rumors.
Just rumors. Okay.
But Des Moines, you said you're from Des Moines, Iowa.
Des Moines, yeah.
My brother went to school in Iowa and then lived there for a couple of years after. And where's the University of Iowa?
It's in Iowa City.
Iowa City, which I went to visit him. I loved it. Iowa's kind of beautiful.
I like how you've said Iowa 3 different ways. You said Iowa, then you was like Iowa. So I like that you kind of go in and out on how you're saying that state. But yes, Iowa is a great place. Nothing other than the weather. Weather's really, really crappy. Really cold.
Really cold. And they get super hot.
Yeah, super hot and super cold. Neither of those are great. So
yeah, I did really enjoy Iowa City. It was great. It was a college town, but it was pretty. I thought the nature was beautiful. We went in June. It was hot.
Okay,
but I really enjoyed Iowa City, and then we went.
If you go to Iowa City the one thing, Iowa doesn't have any sports teams, so the world revolves a little bit around college
football.
Sports.
Yeah,
and Iowa City on a football Saturday is pretty electric. It's up there with the Virginia Tech. I'm not Virginia Tech. I know I'm in Virginia. That's elite. I've been there a couple times, but Iowa's close second. So,
nothing can beat Enter Sandman Metallica entrance for Virginia Tech.
That's unbeatable.
Absolutely. Sure. So commercial banking, and you said there's consumer, like for the yous and me's.
Yeah.
I definitely want to ask about commercial banking, but first I'll talk about commercial banking though, because I do have a question about that.
Yes.
I have a dream one day of opening my own business.
I love that dream.
And it should be if everything goes a plan. I don't have a plan, but there will be a plan one day.
That's a good start. Yeah,
that's a great way to approach investors. I'm going to have a plan of opening a driving range.
I love that.
With a little pub aspect to it, because like I told you earlier, I watch a lot of soccer, but I want a driving range. If would I come to you say, hey, I want to start this business, where does the commercial banking come in?
Yeah. So I would say I get that question a lot, and I would say that typically commercial banking or bankable financing is done for businesses past the startup phase.
Okay.
So most commercial loans are done for businesses that have at least been in business and have some income history of at least 3 years. That's not saying there aren't some programs available for startup funding, but a lot of startup funding comes from grants, maybe private investors, partners, things like that. But for bank financing, it's typically established customers that have been in business for at least 3 years, and they have some historical financials. And then also, I would say, if you're ready to, or you have a need, so you're going to borrow money for real estate, or you'd like to borrow money to acquire a piece of equipment, or you need a line of credit to help you grow your business. It's always, in my opinion, good to talk to banks before, as you're in the planning part, because banks can help you, one, determine what you're eligible for, two, help you prepare, bring up things that maybe you haven't thought about.
Right.
I get requests or calls from people that want to borrow the money right now. and they just haven't done a few of the things that they might wish they would have done, or haven't thought about some certain things, or they're not as prepared as they would have been had they been talking to a bank maybe a year before they needed money. The hardest time to get money is right when you need it.
Yeah.
So it's always good to involve your banker in some of the planning, especially you know, as you run a you know, commercial business, because you know, at some point you might need your bank to fulfill a need or take advantage of an opportunity or grow, whatever that may be. And if they know you as a customer, know your business, and have some level of investment in what you're doing, you know, the chances of that going well for you are much higher.
Much higher. Okay.
Yeah.
I watch a lot of Shark Tank.
Yeah.
And I've always like to follow up, like, where the business is now. And a lot of these deals they make end up falling through.
Sure.
Because I don't know if it's a banker or what exactly. They go through and do disclosure. Is that the term? Or due dissonance? What's the term?
I'm not sure.
But they go back through and like read through the company's books. And usually they say like there's some sort of financial issue they didn't.
Oh, due diligence maybe?
Due diligence.
Due diligence. Yeah.
Did I say that? No. No.
Yeah, you were saying a lot of words that started with D. So you were close.
So due diligence. Yeah. They go through and they just find that there was something, you know, they may have known about and just lied. Or like you said, a banker comes through and is like, hey, this is
something, that you should pay attention to.
Hey, you realize you need to get this repaired, or you're missing some accounting errors.
Right.
So Shark Tank, it's something like 1 out of 4 of the deals they make they just don't work because of due diligence.
But what's awesome about our economy and our country is that you can come up with stuff. And I'll tell you, one of the favorite parts of my job is, you know, talking to all these different business owners from all types of different industries, and you'll be fascinated what's made or done here in your local economy that impacts, you know, their industry in a much bigger way, or different parts of our country in a bigger way. It's a fun job to be in, because you really are on the front lines of the economic heartbeat, not just locally, but nationally as well. And you know, that's probably my favorite part, is you just run into businesses that go, man, I wish I had this idea, or I wish I did this. I'm in the wrong line of work. Yeah. But anyway, it's a lot of fun. And if you can provide capital or be a part of the story that business has of growing or accomplishing their financial goals, you feel like you're a small part of that success, which is a neat reward, if you will.
I've always noticed a lot of businesses and entrepreneurs sharing, like, and thank you so much to like my banker. Like they put them as like one of their employees or their teammates or their investors. Like it's a huge value.
Yeah. Well, I think most, you know, this market does have a number of great banks and bankers. I mean, I know a lot of them personally, and there's just a lot of great people to help support this market from a banking perspective, you know, on the commercial side.
I've seen it as a community too, that you guys associate with each other a lot.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to be gained between talking to each other. Obviously, every bank has a different appetite for risk, but I guess what I'm getting at is it's fun to be a part of a success story.
Yeah, absolutely.
And bankers, we do look at ourselves as true financial partners. I mean, that's what it should be, is a financial partnership with whomever we're lending money to, and hopefully it's a win-win for everybody.
Yeah. To talk a little bit about consumer banking, you had mentioned it earlier.
Yeah.
Even though it's not where you work. So me I'm a 28-year-old, 29, just had my birthday.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, I forgot. Oh, it's been officially a month. I'm June 29th.
Okay.
And still I'm correcting myself on my age. So I'm 29.
It's a good way to never get older, Trey, is to just forget about your birthday.
Oops.
You'll be 28 forever.
So my hairline reminds me every day I'm not really
true.
29.
Those darn mirrors.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, your hairline is undefeated.
Hairline's strong. Gray hair is coming in fast. So
I feel like gray hair makes you look like a smarter banker, though.
Thank you. Yes, that's exactly what it does.
Y'all can't see him, but he's really smiling right now. I'm a 29-year-old guy. Eventually, I want to buy a home. I told you I also want to start a business one day, but. Yeah. One question is, for individuals going into a bank, like I use my credit card a ton. Like I'm very big on like the travel rewards and points and such. I'll have a story later about how I actually made money on my last vacation because of the points game.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. No gambling involved.
Well played.
Just it's a long story. But regardless, I want to ask you about, if I was to go into Burke and Hurbert or any bank, like I just think of consumer banking as very simple. Like I have a checkings and a savings account. Is there more that a bank might be able to do for me than just those two things?
Yeah, definitely. And I think the biggest thing is that it's very personal and personalized. I mean, you're going to be in a different financial situation today than you are when in 30 years. And the things that you might need from a bank could evolve over time. So today, checking and savings might be fine. But like you said, maybe you'll need a mortgage one day. Maybe you'll have some savings that you'd want to invest into something different than just a savings account. And that's Regis from Davenport, who'll be joining us. He'll have a much better answer to this question because that's what he does. He works with individuals on what they need and what they want to do with their wealth and help it work for them. So there's a vast, auto loans. I mean, think about really anything that you could borrow money for. And then from a deposit perspective, maybe if you have some cash, coming up with a strategy on getting the most out of that. So those are all things that banks can do. And I think the important piece of this is just to make sure you're comfortable with your bank. Maybe you have somebody or people at your bank that that you can lean on for advice as your needs change, right? When you start thinking, hey, I do want to buy a house, having a potential lender that you've talked to about what you might be able to afford, so that when you're looking for a house, you have an idea of what what you can borrow. So all those things are important. But for me and the way our bank operates is it always comes down to relationships, and having relationships with the people that you're doing business with is tremendous value to the bank, and hopefully tremendous value to our customers.
Yeah. We won't get too much into real estate, but I have so many questions because I do want to buy a home eventually.
Yeah.
And by eventually, I mean hopefully soon.
Yeah.
All those things about a mortgage, a down payment, how much is too much. That's another conversation.
Yes.
And we might get into that here in a second. So let's talk about, August 7th, we're doing our Business Connect lunch, Business of Money. We have a couple of things that you said you really want to talk about during this, help educate our business community. Tell me a bit more about those. I have a list of some things you pulled up.
I have a few. So I think that the first thing, and this is kind of the thing that is most commonly asked of me, is how's the economy performing? How's our local economy doing? How's the economy looking holistically? So just talking a little bit about that. I mean, I'll admit my crystal ball is just as broken as yours, Trey. So,
right.
So I can't tell you exactly what's going to happen, but as part of my job, I do spend a lot of time looking at some of the, house prices, job growth, those type of metrics that, consumer spending that impact the way the economy is looking and what economists think will happen. So I can share a little bit of that and plan to do that. Rates, you brought up that rates have, gone up in such a fast pace over the last 18 months to 2 years. So just talking a little bit about what that means for the economy. I was reading over 2024 and 2025, there is, I think it was $1.2 trillion of commercial real estate maturities, meaning these loans are going to come up for renewal with a balloon payment over the next 2 years. And those interest rates are going to go from 3.5% to, somewhere between 6, 7, 8%. And so the impact of that will have to rent rates and potentially the economy is it's something that is going to be interesting, frankly, over the last few
buy
years.
now.
I mean, I think there will be opportunities that come up over the next 2 years where there'll be things on the market for less than maybe their value. So there could be some opportunities. I think more than ever, when I read about the economy, more than ever, the answer is I'm not really sure. There's a lot of uncertainty compared to maybe where we were 5 years ago, where it felt like we had a pretty good grasp. But ever since COVID, it's been
uncertain.
It's been uncertain.
Now, is uncertain the same thing as volatility, or
a little bit? Yeah, I think that certainly there's some things that can change and can change quickly, as we've seen. And so we'll talk a little bit about that. The other, we touched on a little bit how to prepare for if you're a small business and you want to borrow money. So I have a few best practices there that I want to share with people that come on August 7th. And then the last thing, really uplifting topic, is fraud and the prevalence of fraud. So I'll spend a little bit of time sharing with everybody how people are stealing money and they're the kind of the newest tactics in doing it, mostly focused on the commercial side because that's the area I spend the most time dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it touches, fraud touches all of us. I think there's very few people that haven't experienced some level of attempted fraud or fraud itself. And so just talking about that. So those are kind of the three categories I want to touch on. I think it'll be interesting. I'll do my best to keep it interesting, keep people awake.
Yeah. Well, fraud, I mean, is very, very, very interesting. And
yeah.
I'm curious about what it would look like for commercial fraud. I was just reading a post about how someone thought they were a victim of fraud, like their bank accounts were at zero. And they're like, oh my gosh, like we can't reach out to anyone. It was a Sunday when they found out.
Yeah.
And it turned out it wasn't even fraud. It was, I think it was a bank levy. They had something.
Oh God.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a long post, again, the comments. And later in this podcast, spoiler, we're going to go through some finance posts and read them together. But yeah, this person had a bank levy and they thought it was fraud.
But it was really just like the government taking their money or something like that.
Yeah. The top comment was like, because it said the charge was like $10,000 levy. Like, yeah, that means you owe money. And then the post got locked and
oh, gotcha. That was
the person then realized like, I'm in trouble.
This isn't fraud. This is just me making a mistake.
Yeah.
Fraud is, I'll say on the commercial side, it's very prevalent. If you think about, it's interesting on the consumer side, we don't really write very many checks. I mean, I go online for everything. We pay with card. On the commercial side, there's still a lot of check writing, and every check has your routing number and account number at the bottom of it. So I see a lot of fraud that can stem from customers that are writing a lot of check payments. So I'll talk a little bit about, on August 7th, you got to come. Talk a little bit about how to mitigate those risks or maybe shift more of your payments to electronic. But as more payments have gone electronic, not surprisingly, the fraudsters have figured out new ways to get people to reroute some legitimate payments to illegitimate sources. And again, I'll talk a little bit about those strategies and what we're seeing and ways to mitigate that risk. But it's an ever evolving. Frankly, it's an industry. I think it's over $1 billion industry is just committing fraud. So it's really uplifting. Makes you feel good about the world.
Yeah, super happy.
Yeah,
but I mean, it's incredibly important. Yeah. And you're right. I think paper checks, unfortunately, is where you see a lot of that coming from.
Yeah.
I DJ and trivia on the side. It's like just my fun job,
Yeah.
My chamber job.
Podcasting, DJ, trivia.
I do a lot of fun stuff.
You're blowing up over there.
I'm blowing up, man. Stock's going up. So I get paid in check a lot. I found a check. And you're going to laugh because we were recording and a check literally fell out of my laptop.
It did, yes. That was amazing. I thought that was planned, actually. You planted that check.
It's a very small check. It's not that cool.
Okay. Right.
It's 1 gig. But there was one time where that kind of happened. I was switching bags. You see I have my book bag here. I had a satchel. And I pulled out my satchel to put everything into this backpack, and I realized there was an uncashed check in there.
Yeah.
Hundreds of dollars.
Yeah.
And it was from a year ago.
Jeez, Trey.
And doesn't that a check expires
after? It
after?
does cause some problems, and I wish I don't know off the top of my head, but there is a period of time that check probably would have. Did you try cashing it?
I did not. I called in.
You just got a new one.
I just got a new one.
Yeah, it probably would have gotten rejected. I don't know all the consumer rules, but it's good to know though that you're not even having to cash your checks over there.
I'm just, I need to. I'm just irresponsible.
Okay.
I'm just irresponsible.
All right, fair enough.
Actually, one time, I'll tell you the story. When I was in high school, me and my brother, we had the same bank, and we both worked at the same job. We were both lifeguards.
Okay.
His name's Eric. My name's Trey. They're both 4-letter names.
Yeah.
We get our checks in the mail from the pool. We would take them to the bank on Mondays because they had free cookies.
Good.
This was in Roanoke, so I won't throw the bank under. It's not a local one.
Well, I might. Burke and Hurbert Bank might have to bring out the free cookies.
Yeah,
if that works.
The free cookies did work.
Okay.
Because I would cash them on purpose in person instead of my phone.
Yeah.
But I went in. I brought in 3 checks. You know me, I'm not very responsible, so I did 3 at a time, and cashed all 3. And my brother, a couple days later, gets a fraud call.
Oh no.
I had cashed one of his checks.
Nice.
And right. And the guy at the bank didn't recognize the fact, because it was the perfect crime.
Yeah.
Because they looked the exact same. It said the pool, it said our names, Trey and Eric. I mean, they're very different names, so they're both 4 letters. So He just
Same
didn't
last
see
name.
it. Same
Yeah.
last name.
Good for you, man. You committed fraud.
I
you
did.
Can tell that story. That's good for you.
Yeah, the bank definitely.
We might need to edit this part out so you don't get arrested.
My brother, I gave them. It's my brother.
Oh, you gave it back.
Yeah, I gave it.
Okay, all right.
10 years. He called me so mad, but he also thought it was hilarious.
I do think in the lifeguard summer days, yeah, just having someone else steal your check would have been a big bummer.
Yes.
So,
Well, I think the banker got in more trouble than I did,
yeah,
because my brother laughed it off, but he was probably like, "Oh my gosh,"
yeah, that's a bad situation.
yeah, like he's on camera,
Right. Doing something wrong.
doing
Yeah, not good.
not good.
I will say it's a good point because if you screw up in banking, it's bad. You're messing with people's money. That's usually pretty important. So we are a heavily regulated industry, and we make sure you got to do
As you should.
do things right as we should be and as we should, right?
Yeah, we won't Google worst commercial banking mistakes.
Yeah,
there's probably some scary ones.
Don't do that.
I mean, it was just last week. It wasn't commercial banking, but when what's the company that pushes code for the airplanes?
CrowdStrike.
CrowdStrike.
Yeah, that was bad.
That was a big mess up.
Yeah, that was. I didn't read all the details, but I do know many people I know were stuck in airplanes for multiple days, or stuck, in places they didn't want to be.
It's where you, oof.
Not good.
Yeah,
not good.
Big question for you.
Yeah.
So when you're talking about rates going up, asking for a friend, what are rates?
What are rates? Yeah,
What are rates?
Interest rates. Banks are, in a really simple terms, we sell money. We, our inventory is deposits. So we offer bank accounts and different banking services to bring the money in, and then we loan it out at a margin. So interest rates are really the rate in which we're loaning out that money. So mortgage interest rates and car interest rates, commercial lending interest rates. So that's what I mean by rates going up.
So it's not just for homes. We're talking about anytime you put out a loan for.
Yeah, right now, but interest rates on really across the board, no matter what you're borrowing it for, have gone up significantly over the last 2 years, primarily driven by inflation. The Fed has tried to raise rates to slow the economy and get inflation under control. Inflation was, you can speculate a lot of ways why that was created, but it was created a lot because there was a lot of free money put into the economy with COVID.
Right.
So that creates inflation.
Right. And such quick,
Yeah.
I guess, growth back from all that it's a lot to manage.
Yeah.
Now, when you say the rates are going up, like is it like when you go to a gas station, the prices are just higher? Like, is it because of supply, or the feds are saying like you have to have a certain percentage?
Well, it's a little bit, yeah. Supply, So the cost of borrowing money for banks has gone up, and therefore the cost of lending it out have gone up. So it's really, think about it again, like any business, our inventory costs of getting getting money that we sell is increased. So we've got to charge more.
Right.
To be able to make money.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that's in essence what happened. And rates aren't really rising right now. In fact, they've been kind of flat for the last 6 months. But prior to the last 6 months, they went from, maybe an average commercial loan would be around 4%, and now maybe it's 7%. So to almost double in such a short period of time. Now, if you look historically, a 7% interest rate over the last 30 years is pretty normal rate. It's just we had a decade of
incredibly low
rates.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. So there you go, Trey.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So it is time to buy. Okay. Interesting. I didn't know that. Yeah. I'm.
You're learning something.
Absolutely. That's the whole point.
That's the whole point.
So now here's a very simple question.
Yeah, please.
So a little bit of math, but I'll make it easy. So if I need $100,000 loan, whether it's for home, car, business, just doing $100,000 to make it clean, it's 7%. That means I'm paying $100,000 and then $7,000 to the bank.
Yeah, that would be. Yep, you got it. I mean, that's an annual percentage rate, but basically, yes, that would be how that would be calculated. And of course, a big part of your loan payment is how long that loan amortizes, meaning how long you pay it back over. So a lot of mortgages are 30 years. So you're going to have a 30-year fixed rate, and you'll pay that rate on your principal balance, and you'll be paying your principal down over a 30-year period. If you change that loan to a 15-year, your payment's going to go up, your interest rate's going to be the same, but you're going to pay less interest over time because you're paying back the loan quicker.
So that 7% you have to pay each. Okay.
Yeah.
So you end up paying a lot more. Like, so that $100,000 loan, if I paid it over 10 years or 30, that
you're going to pay a lot more than $7,000.
Gotcha. Okay. So that's per year. Okay, now I see why people freak out over rates.
The most depressing thing, and you haven't bought a house yet, but
well, that's why my friend's freaking out over rates, not me. I know what that meant.
When you sign a mortgage, there is a sheet that shows like how much in interest you'll pay over the term of the mortgage, and it is a depressing sheet that you have to sign because it's like, oh man, that's how much I'm going to pay. But if you think about it, if we didn't have the opportunity to get capital, it would be really, really difficult to buy a home. So banks make that those kind of things possible, and a very easy structure for consumers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right, that's very educating. Now, because we hear that thrown around like rates for this, and that, or 7%. Like, what does that actually mean for me? It's pretty impressive what people don't know.
Yeah. Well, it's pretty impressive what I don't know about podcasting and every other industry. So, we know what we know, right?
Yeah. We'll have to bring you in for every podcast and let you follow in. So we have some Reddit posts that I wanted to go through here with you.
Okay.
Some of these I've read before, and a couple of these we'll just go through blind.
Reddit, by the way, is the depths of the internet. You should let your listeners know. Reddit is where it can be the best place and the worst place of the internet all at one time.
I've gotten a lot of good financial advice on here. And a lot of bad. So we'll go through this together neutrally.
Okay.
We'll see if we keep it.
I am scared, but go ahead.
We'll see what we keep for the recording. This is from the personal finance page. Husband doesn't believe we are broke. So.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, this is good. Posted by the user Killer Pinata.
I don't know. You don't have to read it. I think they're broke. They're probably broke.
If you have to ask.
Yeah, if you're on Reddit asking,
This has 6,000 upvotes, so it was pretty popular. I'm curious why. My husband doesn't believe me when I say I have no money. My current job doesn't pay great, but I work from home and maintain the house. We make roughly the same. Our bills are just too much. We have too many credit cards. That's a hint. He doesn't realize the amounts that is put on each month, not including the interest. It's $15 here, $20 there, $60 for a video game, $150 in food for us and the toddler. He wants a hobby/toy each week, claiming it's just $25. What can I do? At this point, I'm pinching dimes and nickels from him, so it looks like I'm depriving him of life, but we can't afford it. And then she puts an edit about their mortgage, because it looks like people are asking about, well, what about your home and renting, or what are you doing? Gotcha. They make about $90,000 a year in California. Mortgage is $4,600. $1,200 in daycare, and after paying bills, they have $300 left. This does not include the amount put on credit cards.
I don't. Are you asking me for advice on that, Trey? I mean, did this just turn into like, well, thanks, Kelly, for calling in. Let me tell you. No, I don't. I would. My first advice would be probably to get off Reddit and stop posting about this stuff, and maybe talk to. But budgeting.
Yeah.
So that goes back. Make a budget. If you make a budget as a consumer. You can figure out what are your expenses, what are your income, what's the deficit. It's the same way we look at commercial loans. It's how much are you making a net income, how much do you have to pay your bills. So you should do that on the consumer level, and you probably shouldn't post it on Reddit.
I just found out why this has so many upvotes.
Okay.
Someone was asking like, how much have you put on your credit cards? This wasn't even included in the original post. It's $35,000.
Yeah, it's too many. That's too many dollars.
That's too
many dollars.
That's negative money.
Credit cards. I will say this. So this is a little banking advice. Credit cards are, and they can be used for a lot of different things, but they do charge a much higher interest rate than almost all types of debt. So if you're using a credit card, it's most effective to use it for expenses that you can pay off at the end of the month, so you're not carrying a balance and paying interest on your credit cards. If you can avoid credit card debt, you're better off for it. So
yeah, those fees are nuts, and then they keep building and building.
Yeah, that's not good.
I had a friend who went through college, and he's like, I'm going to avoid student debt and just like work my whole way through college, so he would pay for it as he goes, and he just did it all through credit cards, and he graduated college with credit card debt instead of student debt.
Yeah.
And then he talked to the financial advisor, and he was like, ooh.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, he worked really hard to pay it off, so it worked, and he's in a great place now. But he definitely
shout out to your friend.
Yeah. He definitely realized the fault in that, because those interest rates were a bit higher.
Right. Yeah. So we were talking about interest rates on mortgages around 6-7%. Most credit cards are around 20% interest rates. So
20.
Give you a little feel.
Yeah, that's
a little expensive.
Very. Yeah. Oof. Here's one about mortgage. So would I be insane to sell my house at 2.25%?
That a lot of people that had mortgages during that really low rate environment, and that's part of why you don't see as much activity on the real estate market right now, specifically on the residential side, is if I'm have a home or a mortgage at 2.5%, if I sell that property and go buy a new house, I'm gonna get a mortgage, but now it's going to be at today's rate, which is 6.5%, 7%. So my monthly payment, even if I'm not taking on more debt, is going to jump up significantly. So you see a lot less people buying and selling their homes. Now, what normally happens when that is prices of homes drop, that really hasn't happened because there's so little supply in our market that home prices are still holding steady and even going up in some cases. So it's a weird market for sure, but it is a hard time to move because a lot of people are going from a 2, 3, 4% mortgage and then having to look at buying a home at a 7% mortgage. And so, you do the budget and you go, man, that's a big,
you'd want to buy a cheaper home. But all homes have gone up in value. Okay.
Yeah.
Whew.
Yep.
That I've never thought about that as an issue with the rates.
Yeah.
And okay.
There you go.
Well, now I've already learned a ton by this post before even seeing the answer. I don't even know if I need to read it anymore.
I don't think you do.
Yeah. Even if interest rates were to go down, I'm assuming it would take a long time for it to get back to 2.25.
Yeah, I would be surprised if we ever get back to those really low rates that we had right after the last recession. I think you might see some pullback in rates, but they're gonna hold around the where they're at today is more of a historic trend that is more in line with what's normal, what normal rates look like.
Okay.
So anybody that I think that is waiting for a significant drop in interest rates is not going to see it. We might see a little pullback, but
it's not going to be that quick.
Not quick and not significant in my opinion. Again, my crystal ball is definitely broken, but that would be my guess. Basically.
No, totally. Yeah, we can't give you financial advice right now. We don't know.
We could. It just might be bad.
Might be bad.
Yeah.
To close this out, we are currently in the season of the Olympics. And I was supposed to do this as an icebreaker, and I forgot because I was so excited to talk about money.
To talk about banking, yeah.
The Olympics are happening right now. What is your favorite sports to be watching? And besides just the USA, who are you rooting for in certain events, if you have any?
So, good question. So first, the Olympics are awesome. What a unique event, and really neat to see all these people compete at the highest level in sports that frankly we don't get to watch very often. I did see breakdancing was a sport this year, so I have not seen it yet, but I feel like the United States has to win breakdancing. I don't know enough about the competition, but I feel like it would be really disappointing if we don't bring that home. So my favorite Olympic sport, swimming is big. And my direct manager, Jeff Rouse, he had a pretty good swimming career.
Really?
He has 3 gold medals from back in the 92 and 96 Olympics. So that's pretty neat.
What?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. He was a big deal. Now now he's a banker. I always make fun of him that thank goodness that swimmers didn't get endorsement deals back in the mid 90s and he still got to work. Michael Phelps doesn't have to work. Anyway,
how did I not know this?
I don't know how you didn't know it. But anyway, so swimming, and then I'm a big basketball fan. I like watching our elite basketball team, and hopefully they can get it done. I think what the biggest trend in basketball is just how good the rest of the world has gotten.
Yes,
it used to be like we could just show up to the court. I don't even know if we had to practice, and we would just blow people out. And now it's the talent across the world is fantastic, and it's really fun to watch. our best of the best compete with these guys, and hopefully it works out for us. I mean, we're the favorites there too, but I think it will be with some drama. So
yeah,
tune in.
Yo, absolutely. Yeah. And watching LeBron carry the flag through the torrential rain.
Yes,
it wasn't raining that bad during the opening ceremony until America came out.
Right,
it looked like LeBron was like going through a hurricane.
It was
holding the flag.
There was definitely, it was a cool moment. But anyway.
Yeah, I'm watching mostly right now the surfing.
Okay, I have not seen that.
So it's only the second time surfing's been in the Olympics, or at least I think so. Because the first one, to my knowledge, was the last one in Tokyo. And the good news is, you can watch the Olympics all day right now.
Right.
Because,
start to finish.
Yeah, because the Olympics are in Tahiti, which is 9 hours behind us.
Well, I thought, wait a second, it's in Paris.
But there's no waves, so they got to...
Oh, the surfing is in...
Surfing is the only one, yeah.
Oh.
And it's like 15 time zones away from France.
Yeah. I had no idea about that.
So Tahiti's in French Polynesia.
Okay.
So it's like our Guam, if perhaps you could even say our Hawaii, somewhere in the middle.
Okay.
It's part of France.
Yeah.
I believe they vote for president. I'm not sure. I'm not a French politician. But
yeah.
That is the farthest venue from the host city ever in the Olympics. But because of that, they're Tahiti, like it's just beautiful. And that means it starts around like 2 p.m.
Okay.
And it goes until 7.
Okay.
Our time, yes, Eastern Standard. So you can watch the Olympics all day.
That's the best part. I mean, I think it's I'm a big sports fan, so anytime you can just be like literally at any point today, I can watch sports. That's awesome.
Yeah, you can watch replays right now. We're recording at 2 p.m. You can watch replays right now, but the only thing live right now is surfing because of it being in a different time zone.
Love it. Okay.
Than Paris. So I'm loving it.
Yeah,
surfing. I've never seen competitive.
Right.
It's so cool.
I've seen just guys messing around, and that's cool. So
yeah,
I can imagine surfing at the Olympic level is pretty awesome.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm also watching some of the skateboarding.
Okay.
Skateboarding's really cool.
Yeah.
They already, I don't know if they're completely done with it, but yesterday or 2 days ago, I think she was Japanese. She was 16 years old. She won like the freestyle skateboarding or street skateboarding. 16 years old, gold medal.
Good for her.
Isn't that incredible?
That is incredible.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Good for her.
She's no Jeff Rouse, but...
No Jeff Rouse, but pretty close.
Yeah. My gosh, I need to know a lot more about... How did I not know that someone in our community...
Step it up over there, would you?
And he's 6'4".
Yeah, I don't know. He might be exaggerating in that.
You think so?
Yeah, we'll see. I'll stack him up next time and see if he's really 6'4". I'm thinking 6'2".
That's almost 2 meters.
Yeah.
We'll get 2 meters sticks and see if we can measure him. Right, Jeff. Will he be there on August 7th?
He will not. He had a conflict, so we'll be without Jeff.
That's all right. We have you. We have you. That's all we need.
That's right.
Right on. Well, thank you so much for coming in today, man.
Yeah,
we are pumped for August 7th to hear from you.
It'll be great. August 7th, Davenport, Burke and Hurbert Bank, at the library. Food, right? There's food.
Yep. As of right now, we should be getting some foodie from the restaurant. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And I promise it won't be boring.
Oh, it's going to be a blast.
All right, man. Awesome.
Right.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Signing off. Everyone, thank you all for listening. We will be releasing this soon, hopefully. We recorded this on the 29th, and we'll hopefully have it out today.